Rebonjour. Okay, so now we are going to kind of fake a whiteboard activity. So what that means is you'll see the instructions. You need to either get out a piece of paper and write all these things down by hand, or open up a second tab and type in your Google Doc. And then at the end of this video, you will submit a picture of the Google Doc that you've been practicing on, or the handwritten piece of paper that you've been practicing on, as proof that you've completed this whiteboard activity. So if we were in class, we would be using the dry erase boards. So what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of practice. So after I give you kind of a question, I want you to pause the video, write down what you think your answer would be on your paper or type it in your Google Doc, and then replay the video, and I'll go over the answer and how I got to that answer. And then if yours was incorrect, you change it. That's it. Okay? So it's like you would erase your answer on the whiteboard, you just fix your answer on your paper or write the correct answer next to it, okay? So we're going to be practicing with the pronouns and the verb avoir that we just did. So this first bit, I'm just giving you names. And based on those names, I want you to choose which of those 6 subject pronouns, je, tu, il, elle, nous, vous, il, or elle, 8 subject pronouns, you would use to describe these people. Okay, so we have multiple people here, so you need to be on the plural side of your pronoun notes. So Eric et Georges. So pause, write down your answer. Which pronoun would you use? So Eric and Georges are both masculin, they're both boys. It is a group of multiple people, so we would use il, they, for masculine. Okay, so correct your answer if you need to on your paper. Jérôme et moi. Jérôme et moi. Jerome and me. Okay, pause and write down your answer. So we know this is multiple people, Jerome and me, so we're on the plural side of our notes, but I'm included in this group, Jerome and me. So if I'm included in the group, then we need to use nous for we. Okay, if you're in the group, then it's got to be nous, we. Alice et Laurent. Pause and write down. So again, we're multiple people. Alice et Laurent are both girls. Those are feminine names. So we would use elle, they for girls. Tyler. Tyler is your friend. You know Tyler. You sit next to him in 3rd block. You grew up with him. He lives down the street. So which form of you are you going to use for Tyler? So we only have 2 forms of you. Pause your video and write down which one you're using. So since Tyler is a friend that you are familiar with, you would use tu to talk to Tyler. Now, Madam Yates, you are going to talk to me. So which of those forms of you are you using to talk to your teachers? Pause your video and write down your answer. Okay, so to talk to your teachers, you would use vous to show that they're in a position of respect. Okay, Thomas et Olivia. So again, multiple people, but now we have a mixed gender group, a boy and a girl name. So pause your video, write down your answer. Mixed gender always defaults to masculine, so we would use the masculine il for they. Monsieur Mills, you are talking to Dr. Mills. Which form of you are you using to talk to Dr. Mills? Pause your video and write down your answer. We would use vous. He's in a position of respect, so we would use vous. Thomas et Eric. Again, we're multiple people, but now we're talking to them instead of about them. We're talking to Thomas and Eric in a group. So we would use vous, because remember, vous can be formal or plural. So vous can also mean y'all. Okay, now we are going to practice with the verb avoir. So those notes are still on the same page. So now we're going to put the pronouns and the verb avoir together. So if I give you this pronoun, je, what form of avoir would you write down? So I'll show you an example before you do one on your own. So if I gave you this pronoun at the top on your paper, you would write down j'ai. So you would copy down the pronoun and then also add on the pronoun for the verb avoir. So you would write down j'ai. I have, I do have, I'm having. Okay, tu. So you're copying down tu and now adding in the form of the verb to have, avoir, into your notes, onto your paper. So we would have tu as, you have, you are having, you do have. For il, écrivez, écrivez. Pause if you need to. You would write down il a, il a, il a, he has, il a. Elle would be elle a, she has. Nous, nous avons. Remember, if I'm going too fast, you can pause the video and get your answer down before I go over the answer. Nous avons, we have. For vous, puis vous avez, you have or y'all have. Ils ont, they have. Ils ont, they have. And then finalement, elles, they feminine. Elles ont, they have, they girls have. Okay, so now we're going to transition and kind of put those first two things that we practiced together. So I'm going to give you a word. You need to replace that word with the pronoun. So look at the name or the pronoun that I'm giving you and you replace it with je, tu, il, elle, nous, vous, il. Okay, and then also add on the form of the verb avoir. So moi is me, but you can't start a sentence with me. You can't say me have unless you're three. Okay, so then what you would write down is je. You're replacing that word with the proper subject pronoun of je, adding in the form of the verb avoir. So now you have je, I have. We'll do one more together. So Madame Yates, I want you to replace it with one of those subject pronouns. So you're not talking to her, it doesn't say you, so you're talking about her, so we need to say she. So then we would say elle a, she has. Okay, so now let's practice some of these on your own. Monsieur Dupont. So it doesn't say you, we're not talking to him, we are talking about him. Monsieur Dupont is a masculine name, so then we would write down il a, he has, il a. Pierre et moi. So remember, when moi, me, when that person is included in the group, it has to be what subject pronoun? Pause your video and write down the pronoun and the verb. So nous, anytime it is another person or other people and you are included in that group, it has to be nous for we. So nous avons, we have. Thomas et Eric. Pause your video. So Thomas et Eric, these are multiple people. Both appear to be masculine names, so we would talk about them by saying ils ont, they have. Ils ont, they have. Michel et Daniel. Michel et Daniel. Multiple girls, so we would say elles ont. Elles ont. Talking to Madame Lane. Do you know Madame Lane? Probably not. So we want to use a position of a pronoun that indicates that we respect her when we are talking to her. So we would want to say vous avez, you have, showing that position of respect. Georges. Georges is your friend. He lives down the street. You've known him a really long time. You are familiar with him. So how would you say you have to George? Pause your video. You would say tu as, you have. Georges, tu as. George, you have. Just a few more. Michel et moi. Again, et moi. You are in that group with Michel. So you would write nous avons. Nous avons. Thomas et Mélanie. Thomas et Mélanie. Plural group, but mixed gender. What do we do when there's boys and girls together? We default to masculine. Ils ont. They have. They have. Okay, finissez. So you have now practiced your pronouns and the verb avoir together. So you take a picture of what you've been writing on and upload it to that assignment, or take a screenshot of your Google Doc. You can even take a picture with your phone of your Google Doc on your computer. It doesn't have to be fancy. I just want some written proof to show that you have actually practiced with these words. Okay, submit that on Canvas.